Hello and welcome back to Community Stand-Up. Hi, everybody. Happy May. As many of you know, yesterday was the official end of support of Xamarin. So we're going to be really sad. Well, I'm going to be really sappy today, which is funny because like most of you have been here longer than I have, but that I'm really sad about it. And Dave is less sad about it, but he's got all of the memorabilia. Yeah, but anyways, I'm like emo about it, you know, like it keeps making me want to cry. So, anyways, we're doing a very casual community stand-up today. I'm Maddy, if you're new here. I'm with Dave, and we've got Rachel as our guest today. Rachel is going to be basically roasting Dave's latest sample app he's been working on because she's the accessibility queen and also just like generally has an eye for style. And I'm going to be here and watch. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to do the usual, just a quick couple of blogs and some packages and PRs from me and Dave this month. I want to show you all the Xamarin gave me hashtag too. It's really cute. It makes me, I can't like keep.
I had not seen it until I just opened Twitter. I did not know that it was happening.
You need to have like a glass of wine or something with it because I was reading it in bed last night and I literally was like getting choked up. So it's dangerous. And then, yeah. Oh, I'm going to show a quick VS Code demo too, just because I can, because I'm allowed to, because I run the show, even though Dave did all the planning for this one. So no big deal. Let me share my window screen. Links, putting them into chat. Hi, Lance. What's up? Yeah, the new idea of Xamarin. So I guess I should tell. I'll do the blog first, then I'll tell my quick Xamarin story. So look at this, the Xamarin page. Support for Xamarin ended. Crying. And you can see now the GitHub for Xamarin Forms is actually officially archived.
Yeah, do that.
Oh, sorry. I'm really smart. Yeah, it's crazy. Rachel has actually been the one who made like the document of all the checklists of things we had to do. So thank you, Rachel, for keeping me and Dave organized because we were kind of like, we'll just like, kill everything at some point. And Rachel was like, no, we are going to actually properly facilitate this across the teams. And I was like, sick. That's why we have her. So Gerald was the one who hit the button, by the way. He's the one who typed in Xamarin/Xamarin Forms in order to kill Xamarin yesterday. Not kill it, archive it. So if you're mad about it, you can get mad at him. Thanks, Gerald. Oh my God, Almir's blog. I woke up, I read it in the morning. Terrible thing. It made me so sad. It was so cute. Literally, of course, I'm writing this at 2 a.m. So there will be some emotions involved for real. But yeah, just very sweet, cute pictures. I've loved seeing everyone's pictures and memories, especially with like, people that we still work with now, but like 10 years ago. I think it's very fun. Another one from Niels' blog. Pieter, that's who. Cross-platform app development is dead. Long live cross-platform app development. LOL. Made me laugh. But there's a bunch of them. So this hashtag Xamarin gave me is where all this is. And like, look at this. Look at all these. All the Frank's in here. Oh, I've been learning about a bunch of new apps, Dave. You're gonna like this. People are tweeting like, "This is the app I shipped with Xamarin," or like, "This app made me $100,000 this year," or something. And I'm like,
"Wow,
I'll take that." Pictures of like people's kids. Rui's house.
His house is crazy cool.
That's insane. Some VR stuff. Oh, John just tweeted. Look at all these pictures of babies. Anyways, I could do this all day. It's very fun. Hi, Andrew. And then a lot of love for Maui in there too, which I've really appreciated. The people who were like, and now onto Maui, and I'm like, oh, thanks. I don't know if any of you saw the Reddit thread earlier. I think it was earlier this week. I generally try to stay off of Reddit because it gives me acid reflux. Reddit related to Maui. But someone posted like, Maui is just Xamarin Forms, like rebranded, and like they've been pulling the wool over all of our eyes. And the top comment was like, "Thanks, Sherlock." It's like, yeah, have we really been hiding that this is a Xamarin evolution or whatever? So I thought that was very funny. But In terms of practical things about Xamarin end of life, like the thing that's actually end of life is the SDK, which means that Gerald doesn't have to like roll new releases for bug fixes anymore. The tooling, as you'll notice, isn't really going anywhere for VS. The things that don't exist in MAUI will start we'll start pulling those out slowly, but Visual Studio has like a very set support policy, right? So you can't just rip things out of Visual Studio when you want to. So most of your tooling, if not all of it, will continue to work until that like unofficial deadline of next spring, which is when Apple is probably going to stop letting you put things in the store. Built with Xamarin, built with the latest version of Xamarin. So we'll keep y'all posted as like we move forward with the tooling deprecations and stuff, but there's not going to be a ton of changes in the meantime. Lance, LOL. So true. Also, congrats on your promotion, Lance. Lance tweeted earlier he is now a senior something or whatever at his job. I don't know. I thought you would be the senior most version of whatever you were anyways. So I was like, how do you get promoted more? Yeah, but I've been loving the stories. I was an intern when Xamarin got acquired by Microsoft, so I didn't actually come over from Xamarin as much as I like to pretend I did. I missed the last Evolve by like, less than a year. But when Xamarin got acquired and my boss, Microsoft, was like, oh my God, like we're going to have more people in the Cambridge office. It's the Xamarin company. I was like, what? Like Xamarin sounds like a anti-anxiety medication. This is the joke I always make and it never gets old to me. But like what is this? And then I learned all about it and I loved it. And I was like, maybe they'll hire me when I graduate. And then they did. Suckers. And 6 years later, here we are. So, and when I started, Dave had just started, which this will segue nicely into what I'm sure you're going to show. Dave had just started at Microsoft. And our boss was like, yeah, if you have any questions, just go to Dave. Like, he knows exactly what's up. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, how long have you been here? And he was like a couple months. And I was like, how do you know everything? But anyways, that's my story. Dave, do you want to show your little trinket you found?
Oh, so when we were getting ready to record our build session, which has been recorded already and it will be broadcast at build, I was looking through all the things that are behind me to try to figure out what do I need to remove and like what makes it look messy. And so I found this nondescript, envelope of things. And I was like, what's in there? Is like family photos or something. Like that's kind of what I expected to see. And I don't know how well this is going to show up on the screen, but it's actually my original and second. I was an MVP twice. Xamarin MVPs. You can kind of see them there.
Give him that
so cute.
And what I love is that it looks like they were really signed by hand by Miguel, Nat, and Joseph, which maybe not. They're pretty consistent. Probably not. Yeah, those are way too consistent. But still, it's very cool. Joseph's the one that hired me, and I will forever be grateful for that. He's my hot dog buddy. Loves a good Chicago hot dog. You didn't know that about Joseph? That's gross.
Hot dogs are gross.
We have an appreciation.
Hot dogs are the worst grilled food.
Wow.
I think Rachel had a hot dog last night at the ball game, didn't she?
I did.
You had a Fenway Frank?
No, I had one after.
Oh.
I resisted, and then I had to get one after.
You're regretting?
Wow,
yeah, so that I just found that. I do find things occasionally from the years. I spoke at all 3 Xamarin Evolves. Also, thanks to Joseph. He pulled me in and gave me that opportunity. So I owe a lot to Joseph and his 12 kids. Sorry. Every time we mention Joseph, his kid count goes up by 1.
Yeah. I think he is actually at 6 or 7, which is 4 or 2.
My wife's the oldest at 10, so no shade. I mean, like, it's great.
Oh my God.
Makes family gatherings fun.
Oh my God.
When they start bringing their own children. And then it's just like, we have football games at Thanksgiving.
That's amazing.
We can field multiple teams.
I mean, it's terrifying, but it's amazing. So, anywho.
Oh, yes. And I mentioned earlier, this is my favorite
Oh yeah.
And this is a replacement that Maddy, once I joined, I realized there's a closet full of things, monkeys and t-shirts and this. And so I was able to acquire replacements for the broken things.
Yeah. There's still a bunch of Timbuktu Xamarin backpacks sitting behind my desk in the office. So speaking of the office, Rachel, I hope you scheduled some time today to eat that cake.
Oh my gosh.
We brought in the cake yesterday to eat, but we pushed the button to archive Xamarin at like 10 a.m. So we were like, we'll eat this later. And then we just didn't have any more free time all day. So now there's like a full-sized sheet cake in the fridge of the office in Boston. So if anyone's around, like swing through. And I didn't go in today. I was like, I'll come in. And then I woke up with a splitting headache. And I was like, I want to do the stream from home. So anyways, okay. Rachel, how did you start? You were an intern? They just put you on us randomly?
No, yeah, I just got put here randomly. I had mobile experience beforehand, and I was a college hire, and I think they were just like, mobile, Xamarin, that's the only thing. And when I joined, it was already decided that MAUI was coming, but I still got to work on forms. We were still doing that, and it was before the MAUI repo officially got created, so.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So I was a part of the Xamarin team.
Yeah. I know you've been here for like a while now, like 4 years, right?
Yep.
But
time flies.
Yeah, it was all during COVID. So that's weird to me.
Yeah, it was.
To me, like the end of Xamarin and COVID lined up at the same time, or like the beginning of the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
anywho,
it was years after I started before I met any of you. So
yeah. And then
do you have in your links the Richard Campbell video of from mono to MAUI?
Let me add it. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I wanted to make sure that we have that in our list of links this week because it's such a great presentation. He continues to make it better and better. And I've heard it 2.5 times. Yeah. And even I learned some things, but then I was also able to share some new information with him that he's worked into it. So
which one do you like? The NDC London one?
Oh, I haven't seen that one. So whatever's the newest one probably would be the most interesting.
That one says it was uploaded in April, but I think NDC London was a little bit ago. But whatever. I'll add it. Good call. Oh, but I added it as a Bing video. Hold on. So
yeah, everybody, if you haven't seen that presentation and heard that story, he's got some never probably before seen footage of Miguel and the early days and screenshots of old versions of Windows things. Anyway, it's highly entertaining and educational.
Yeah, he's awesome. Rich, for those of you who don't know Rich, which if you're newer to the community, it might be the case.
.NET Rocks, come on.
Yeah, .NET Rocks podcast is him and Carl, and they're around. Rich is also like the main guy at Dev Intersections, which is an awesome conference. If you can make it out to it, I really enjoyed Dev Intersections. It's always a good time. There's a dog licking my kneecap. Please stop. Thank you. And then hold on, I want to show this before I hand it over to you guys to cause chaos for the rest of this. FYI, MAUI C# dev kit thing, because we're still working on this, Xamarin, goodbye, love you. However, why is control scroll not working? Ooh, anyways, we're probably going to deep dive into this next month because it will be GA by then. Hopefully, most likely. But we did fix it. So now everything goes through the C# debugger. This will be shipping to you in pre-release imminently. So just FYI, there's no more separate MAUI debugger.
Try Control Plus.
What?
Try Control Plus to zoom.
Thank you.
Oh.
But yeah, no, we have a C#, the actual proper C# debugger now. And what's cool is that, oh, it's already so funny. What's cool is that this is actually using like the VS debugging engine under the hood, like the proper VS iCore debug stuff for mobile too. And previously it was like the mono soft debugger. So it's actually wicked fast. So have fun with that. Just want to show you. It's coming soon. All right. All right. Dave.
Yeah.
Would you like to show some links, or do you want to hop straight into your little shindig here?
Let's show some links.
All right.
There it goes. All right, cool. So if you are not aware of this one, I did put together a list of kind of just general information FAQs, frequently asked questions, because I find that as people start to become more aware and or concerned that Xamarin is no longer supported, they need to kind of see what the road ahead looks like, because there is no extension of support for Xamarin. Don't even need to ask. Yeah. So important dates, et cetera, et cetera. This is in the discussions, end of support. There's actually an aka.ms for it, which let me just post it to everybody. aka.ms/Xamarin/end of support -FAQ. There you go. So check that out. Next point of news is we shipped. Yay! We've been shipping a lot, actually, across Android, iOS, and MAUI. And so 8.0.2.1 is the latest. It is essentially a patch of 8.0.2.0. So I don't think we call it SR5. I think it's still like SR4. So you can see that 8.0.20 was a full release. And then we shipped it first to NuGet. So this is kind of the way we've been operating. We ship things first to NuGet. Those who want to opt into it can start using it and checking it out, and then provide us with that quick feedback. It's helped us to catch some things that would have been more gnarly had it gone wider to those who are just using Visual Studio. Which is a much larger audience than we get directly from the direct to NuGet. But it allows us that time to validate some things. Because if you remember the old Xamarin Forums days, we would do a lot of preview, then boom, big NuGet, right? So this is similar to that flow. So anyway, check this out. I've been using it. Works great for me. There are some collection view performance improvements, some memory leak performance improvements, and just general goodness and quality. I am definitely using the hide soft input on tap changed for Catalyst, which hopefully Rachel will allow me to show you. All right, cool. So a couple other things that have been going on in the community. Adam has a fork of the old Xamarin Google APIs for iOS components. And so with the sunsetting of Xamarin, we also are not going to be shipping new versions of iOS components for Google libraries. So the support statements on those have been updated. And we hadn't shipped one in quite a while, so I don't think this is a surprise to anybody. Effectively, they don't get a ton of usage, but for those of you who they are important to, they're important. We still have the Android versions, but these are specifically the iOS versions. So this is Firebase. This is Google Play Services. He has a fork of it. He's been keeping it up to date, and I think it's close to the tip. Latest stuff. Currently, it looks like it's being released on GitHub, not being pushed yet to NuGet. But now that it's clear that we're not going to be shipping another version to NuGet, perhaps Adam can take over and ship it there. He is looking for help. So if this is something that you're using, the number one way you can help is support his efforts here, sponsor him, or whatever the GitHub way to do that is. And then, of course, contributions are probably very welcome. If you want some background on it, I did include a link to the discussion thread where the initial question was asked, what's Microsoft going to do with these bindings? Are we going to get new ones? And then I tried to answer as best I could. Also pointing people to the slim bindings, which we had a presentation, I think it was last stand-up, we had John Dick on. And we talked about what is a slim binding, when would you want to use a slim binding. It's not a product, it's not a tool, it's just a pattern. It's a way of wrapping a native SDK or a library and utilizing it in .NET with doing the hopefully minimal hence slim amount of work. It's not right for every library. Sometimes it might be more work, but it has been working out quite well for several libraries. In here, you'll see starter projects for Facebook, Firebase, Google Cast, and Rachel is actually owning this. And so if you have questions and you want to talk more about this and how it could be used, Rachel, how do you want people to contact you?
Yeah, I mean, feel free to find me on Twitter. My handle's here, but also, yeah, reach out to me through whatever avenue. You can email me, Rachel Kang at Microsoft.
Tag you on issues, maybe?
Yeah, if there's anything in an issue that you open up in that repo, go ahead. I'll see them. But yeah, more to come, much more to come on this as we are fleshing out the experience so we can make it as easy as possible for y'all to use Slim bindings.
Yeah, then that's definitely the goal, is to make binding things easier. Back in the day, we would have just bound them all for you. Xamarin funded a whole team to do that. We are not that team anymore. Okay, I noticed that Javier got a little busy a couple weeks ago, merged a bunch of contribution pull requests. I mean, Javier is always busy. I didn't mean it to sound like he's ever not busy. But
no, he went off the rails in particular.
What's that?
He went off the rails in particular with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think he had a couple weeks of vacation or something. I don't know. And I mean, that's the way he usually is. He's as with all of us, we are extremely passionate for the product. And so we tend to just go above and beyond and do stuff. Many of us in our off hours and our holidays. So anyway, this is the MAUI Linux backend. And so as you can see, I'm finding a lot of really cool stuff on LinkedIn these days, by the way, like way more interesting, in my opinion, than that x.com thing. But yeah, cool work happening here. If you're interested in this, there's activity there. There are people contributing. Thank you very much to those who have been contributing, and join in. Enjoy that. Would love to see that thing continue to grow and mature. The link to the GitHub repo where this lives is right here. And you can clone it, check it out, fork it, do things with it, contribute to it. Among the cool things that I have noticed over on, I guess I can zoom out, make sure this video plays. Alessandro is showcasing some cool little fun UI related things that he did with MAUI recently. And so you can see the background image changing, fading. It's got snow. Isn't that cool?
That's pretty. I like that.
Snow.
That's nice.
Alessandro, you need to share a link to the GitHub where you got this so that people can go check it out and enjoy that. But such cool stuff that I've been seeing on LinkedIn. I thought it was worth calling attention to that.
I haven't even thought about looking for this kind of stuff on LinkedIn. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, people have been really sharing all their latest activity and adventures and blogs. I see a lot more of it there. Gerald could probably chime in and tell us where all the good information is, but it seems like it's there. Gerald's also very active. I pretty much just follow Gerald, and whatever Gerald reposts, I'm like, okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah. He's a great RSS feed.
He is, right? All right. So I guess maybe where we should start here is we're going to, what was that?
That was my dog stealing the paper bag that my lunch came in from under my desk.
Sounds about right. I put my dogs in their homes, their crates.
Well, so my husband is on a call right now in the other room.
Oh, that guy.
And so it's very rare that we're both on calls at the same time. And so he exiled the dog to be my problem. So
all right. So I did not include this in the links. Maybe we could retroactively add
post
this.
it.
Wrong computer. I can't do that. I'm on two different computers.
Oh, I'll find it. I'll post it. Thank you.
So Rachel, you didn't even tell us you were blogging this week.
Yeah.
Gosh, did I not? I had this lined up like
We have like 5 one-on-ones a week, and you never mention this.
Wait, you get 5 one-on-ones with Rachel a week? I get 1, and then you don't even talk to me unless I call you randomly.
I think Dave wishes we had 5 one-on-ones a week. Like, are you counting the ones you have in your dreams too? Because
I count the ones where we get to speak Korean to each other, and then we actually have the ones that are in English.
anyways,
I'm jealous. I need to learn Korean now.
yeah, this one I've been excited about. And I wrote it up a long time ago, which is why I forgot like when it was actually going to go live. If y'all remember the Journey to Accessible Apps, it's a blog post series that I started like years ago now. And it's been a minute since I had a new one, but this week, wow, what a week. This went live on Monday. So this one talks all about keyboard accessibility and how you can leverage best keyboard accessibility practices with .NET MAUI. And keyboard accessibility is really challenging, and it's really often overlooked, even among folks who are focusing on accessibility and think about how to make their apps accessible. Keyboard accessibility in particular is one that is easy to miss. So yeah, I wanted to put this out there so we can share how we have been thinking about this on the MAUI side of things and how y'all can incorporate best practices in your app.
So what I found very timely and interesting about this is that I have been noodling. I mean, this is probably no secret to anybody who's seen my demo apps of late, but it's a lot of Korean language learning related things. And so it's my hobby. I just do it. There's not a ton of great reasons why. I think it's cool. And so it works well into my software development. And so I've got a current app that I've been working on, which maybe I'll just pull it up right here. Let's see. I just installed a new thing here. Are you going to find it? Are you going to find it? You're not going to find it. All right. So I'll show you the Android version.
All right. Great.
So basically what this app does is it allows me to, I don't think I've set this all up, but anyway. So it allows me to set up vocabulary that is specific to me. If I have not set up vocabulary that's specific to me, then I use OpenAI to generate some beginner vocabulary for me. So if we come in here and look at the beginner vocabulary, you see that I've got words, got lots of words.
You a big AI guy now? You're an AI?
Big AI guy. Big AI, Big Al. So I also have this set up so that I can import from files. Like if I've got a Quizlet or I've got what's that other one that I've been using? I don't remember what it's called anymore. Then I can just export that as a CSV and I can import it. That's all cool.
Nice.
So then based on this, I can do different activities. So like, for example, I've got this warming up where I can have a conversation with an AI. I haven't actually tried this on Android recently. It's probably not. This is why you don't click things that you've never done. Yeah, he's not going to talk to me. But the one that I thought would be interesting for us to look at, well, there's a couple of things. Firstly, like here in the profile, I've got a bunch of entry fields. And so there's a lot of keyboard things that happen in here. And in particular, let me do this. See, keyboard didn't go away. See, I crashed it. Why did you do that?
It's not going well.
It's time to rebuild for Mac. Ooh, that's a nice icon.
What's that?
That was a nice icon on your splash screen.
That's also from OpenAI.
Oh.
But the thing is, like I kept telling Dolly, like, no, use real Korean characters, real glyphs, and it won't. It will just give me something that looks very similar, but is not. And I'm just like, I even told it the exact word to use for word, basically.
That's hilarious.
So it was kind of annoying. But I thought there's a couple of things in here that we could focus on. One is this, because it actually has 2 text boxes. And so I go from one to the next. It also has a list up here in a scroll view, so it kind of doesn't really scroll as I would like it to. But as I was building this, of course, I'm thinking to myself the debt that I'm incurring in terms of accessibility, because while our template comes with some accessibility, demonstrated in it, from the moment that I take over, I'm losing that battle. And so I thought it would be a good opportunity once I saw your blog post and knowing that I do a lot of keyboard related things in here. So for example, like when I touch this, right, the keyboard comes up, but I want to be able to dismiss by touching away. And then when I come in here, I also want to be able to interact with these vocabulary words to bring them in. So I had to work that out, right? Like that's more of a UX gesture related thing. But because I was originally using the hide soft input at the page level, no matter what I touched on the page, it dismissed the keyboard. And that's not what I wanted. I wanted to be able to touch these things. And so I ended up using the community toolkit stuff to handle where the soft dismiss would work, right? That makes sense to you, right? So anyway, I've got this one. The other one I wanted to show off real quick. I think it's this one. Yeah. So I'm super proud of this one. This one's fun. So what I do is I go find an image anywhere, right? And then I can load it into the application. I just paste the URL for it. I send it up to OpenAI. I ask OpenAI to give me a description of it and things that are in the image, positions relative to each other and all that sort of thing. And then I get to write descriptions of what's in the image. And then it sends it back to OpenAI with the description it originally created, and it compares and says, okay, firstly, does your sentence even make sense? Is it fluent and is it accurate? And then secondly, is it accurate to what's actually in the image as best we can tell? And it's fun. It's good fun. Tell me you're impressed. You're impressed. You want to buy?
I mean, that's pretty cool.
I'm putting it in the store for $9.99. No, I'm not.
I was going to say, you're going to have to use more than 2 colors if you want to do that.
So I have, well, I didn't prepare my other image, but if somebody just, I don't know, find another image and put it in here. But anyway, there's the app. So I've got it on Android, but I primarily have been using Mac Catalyst and using the desktop and using iOS, of course, because, when I'm going to sleep at night and I'm playing my games, then I can use my phone. Anyway, all right. So Rachel, where would you start? Like, what's the thing that you're like, oh man, this is completely the nightmare for accessibility. Your app is going to get trashed. You'll never pass compliance.
Where do we begin, Dave? All right. Well, let's start with just one screen first now. So can you go to that first screen with that you had showed where you write stuff with the buttons and the 2 entries? That one? Yeah. Okay. So here you showed us that you can click into the entries and type things, and you can also click on the buttons, and that'll bring text into the entries. But you showed us how to do that by tapping on the screen, right? Can you try now, attempt to do that with just your keyboard?
With just my keyboard? But it's in an emulator. So does that make sense?
I think it should work. It's in Android, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I tabbed to something.
Okay. What was that?
So it was tabbing through. It was tabbing through those guys, and now I've gotten to my entry.
Okay, great. So you're able to navigate to your entry, type stuff in, and then can you navigate to the buttons without your mouse? You can't cheat, Dave. Keyboard only.
Oh, sorry. All right. All right, hang on. Actually, you know what? I have not set up this. What do you call this thing?
Matt said he saw it highlight.
It's not letting me type in. Why is it not letting me type in?
Huh. If you press Shift Tab, that should help you navigate.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So that's part of the problem, right? And now it's not letting me type. So I'm in a broken state at this point, right?
Yeah.
Let me start over.
Should we have a poll? Do we think that this is a glitch or Dave just fundamentally is holding it wrong?
My favorite question. Very good. Okay, you tabbed in. That looks good.
Ooh. Oh, you know what? I feel like my keyboard is like in a wrong mode at this point.
Huh?
Because I can get to punctuation, but I can't get to anything else. So
Wait,
did you
so
see me?
let's focus just on the tabbing for now.
Okay.
So we press tab. Okay, go do it again, but more slowly. Okay. Okay, so stop. Yeah, you're on the buttons.
Yes.
It's hard to tell, but Android indicates that you have keyboard focus on a button with like a very slight highlight.
Right, right.
So press enter.
Okay.
I don't know if that did anything.
Yeah, it put it down here.
Good. Nice. So that is part of just like basic keyboard accessibility functionality. Like as long as you are using MAUI controls built out of the box and not doing anything egregious to interfere with the accessibility that is built into the MAUI controls, it should just work. You should be able to use tab to navigate to the different interactive controls on the screen, like the entries, the buttons here, and pressing things like enter to activate a button or like click on the button per se should do what you expected it to do. So good job, Dave.
I'm actually yeah, I mean I did nothing
Yeah,
to make that work.
great. I'm glad you didn't try to build weird things. I've criticized Dave's apps before. He tried to when he told me how he
critique
critique. Sorry,
constructively.
that's what I meant. Dave's done some funny things, funny workarounds. So when you build workarounds into your apps, just make sure you're checking that it doesn't interfere with accessibility. Cool. So that's one thing that works. Yeah, okay. What else should we take a look at?
I have a stupid question.
Yeah.
Are you drawing those characters in some like those just typed Korean characters, right? So they'll respond to font scaling. Like if you were to bump
I
up
haven't set up this
font box?
emulator. I haven't set up the emulator to handle Korean. So it's not going to. If I was in iOS.
Well, there's no Korean keyboard. That's why you're having issues.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was figuring. Because I when I change it on the Mac, you can see up here.
Show us the Mac one. Show us the Mac version.
Yeah. Let's go to Mac.
Will that work? Did you break it?
Will it work?
Will it blend?
It's going to take a second to build. All right. So tabbing is one thing, being able to navigate with tabbing.
Mhm.
I think, I don't know why tabbing backwards wasn't working for me, but.
Keyboard focus and unfocus. You can also, we have new APIs called soft input extensions that were introduced in .NET 8, if you missed that. So that allows you to detect whether or not the soft input, so the virtual keyboard, is showing on your screen or not. There's a is soft input showing API. And if you wanted to hide the soft input or show the soft input, you can control that as well. So for example, like something I noticed is that when you were on those buttons and you pressed enter, we couldn't tell if it worked until you went down because soft input was like in the way. So if you wanted to say like, hey, like close it, close the soft input when you're on the buttons, that's logic that you could add to your app to improve that experience.
Right. So I think actually in this one, if we go down to that second entry, close some things here so we can see the code. Entry. Am I on the right page? Oh, I'm on the dashboard. That's not where I want to be. So we are in the writing exercise. I come down here to the bottom to the last entry. This one right here. Soft focus on entry completed behavior. The next element that I want to go to is the user input field. Is this what you were referring to, or are you saying that we support this sort of thing now directly in MAUI?
Can you repeat that? I'm confused by your question.
So you were talking about some of the behaviors that you can add to the soft input to hide and show. So what this is from the toolkit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a keyboard extension that allows me to declare what should happen after I complete. So completed being I hit enter.
Yeah.
So when I hit enter, it's going to run the grade command. But then it's going to take me right back to the user input field so I can keep my hands on the keyboard and keep typing.
Gotcha.
Teams decided to launch on my computer. That's awesome.
Gotcha. So we are very careful about how we set focus within MAUI because of the accessibility consequences that might be created. And because of that, rather than controlling focus directly, we recommend using the soft input extension APIs. And so, yeah, so you could use the hide soft input and show soft input APIs, which are in the MAUI SDK, to control whenever you want to show and hide the keyboard. So what I was saying is that before, when the keyboard was showing, but when you were on the buttons, we couldn't see the entries. So that is a scenario in which you might have considered just hiding the keyboard.
Right. So does the app know that, like, because it's showing this is the soft keyboard, right?
Yes.
My hard keyboard is on my computer.
Mm-hmm.
Does the app know that I'm typing with the hardware?
That's a good question.
Because I would like if I were able to just tell the app, hey, anytime that you're using the hard keyboard, like, don't show me the soft keyboard.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure we have something that, like, an explicit API that detects that yet. But what I was saying is that we have an API that detects whether your soft keyboard is showing or not.
Right.
So you can, like, if it's showing, hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
This is what I was debugging earlier. Why? Why is that happening? What just happened? Some process is running wild in this app that I wrote with weird async code.
You're going to get like an $8 million OpenAI bill next month.
That's fine. I'm capped at $20 a month. It's all good. All right. So what else?
The other thing I want to add about the whole focus unfocus thing and why we don't have explicit APIs for it is that, well, one, due to accessibility, some control needs to always have focus. Previously in Xamarin, when we were unfocusing things, we were actually making it inaccessible by focusing on, like, the entire page, for example. So you always want to ensure that something has focus in, like, almost every single scenario. So yeah, that's just something I want to clarify. And another thing is that on Android and earlier versions of the SDK, it's actually not even possible to unfocus an entry. So there's that too.
So I noticed that, like, just comparing Android to the Catalyst app, if I go back to that same thing, like I start hitting tab, I don't think it's doing anything.
Yeah, so that I believe is just consistent with the platform behavior. Like the way that we handle accessibility is consistent with how each platform handles accessibility. So on Android, like being able to tab through the controls like that is what's expected. On Mac, I'm not as familiar with the experience, honestly, but I know that if you have voiceover on, for example, then the keyboard stuff will work. And I think actually Macs have like specific settings that you need to turn on for you to have the keyboard navigation and keyboard accessibility controls working.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do have localization working.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Right?
Now we can all understand what you're writing.
I hear the audience applauding.
I like it. I think for Mac, what you need to do is give full keyboard access, is what it's called, and then you can tab through apps. If
Well,
you
like
look
in
in your
the
settings, it should be in accessibility.
There's a setting somewhere.
Yeah, go to accessibility, and then there's one that's like full keyboard access or something. Keyboard. Yeah, that top one.
what this thing?
Yeah.
Oh, move forward tab. Oh, look at that.
Look at me. I contributed. I contributed positively.
Yeah, the settings look different depending on which version of Mac OS you have too. So
yeah,
it'll be a little different.
Nice.
I agree, Matt.
What's Matt saying?
He said it's crazy. It's not on by default.
I believe their reasoning is because like games and a web page navigation like that is different, but I don't know.
Do you have any modal pages in your app by any chance?
Yeah, I have some alerts.
Okay, let's check those out.
Yeah, so I guess one of the alerts, come back over here. If I go back to that image page, this one right here.
Okay.
And then it has an entry field in it.
So go back to the underlying page for a moment. Okay, so there's an entry on this page, and then go to the alert now. So if our keyboard accessibility works as we expect it to, when you try to navigate to the different controls, you should only be able to navigate to this entry and the cancel and OK buttons. It should ignore anything on the underlying page since that's technically should not be accessible.
Yeah, so I'm not able to tab right now, but again, it
broke everything.
Well, I was in the other keyboard mode, so I may have goofed that up. So it would be probably more useful to test this on a real device. I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, when it comes to accessibility, testing on a physical device is always key. Yeah, I think on iOS simulators especially, it's harder to test anything when it comes to accessibility. But Android emulators, the keyboard stuff, you can sort of test. But even then on Android, it's really complicated if you want to try to get TalkBack to work on an emulator. So physical devices are the way to go because that's what your users and your app customers are using. So
I wonder, I wonder if I goofed all this up because now the Mac is in control and not. Yep, look at that. I have to turn it off so that I can get Android working again.
Yeah.
All right.
You can
Oops, not that
see
one.
just from Dave's struggles how difficult it is to navigate your devices and everything that you got to do just with a keyboard. This is an empathy building exercise, really.
All right. So now I can go. Yeah. So now I'm cycling through just those three, which is great.
Yep.
So here's one thing I wanted to check. Before I got into this, I was focused on the other entry field. When I exit from this, I would expect, am I going to be back? Yeah. So I'm back on the entry field. So that's because that's one of the things I remember coming up when we would have customer calls to focus on accessibility of apps is when you leave a modal experience of any kind, what is the thing that has focus when you return to the next view? Because as you mentioned earlier, something should always have focus.
Yep.
So It looks like we're doing the right thing here.
Yep.
Or I got lucky.
Well, if you use MAUI controls, you can expect to get lucky 99% of the time.
I absolutely love it. I mean, we had a call with a rather large, very, very large, very, very visible customer who's using MAUI to do some really cool stuff. So that's all I can tell you. And they were like, yeah, we need to go through accessibility review. And so we're really worried. And I'm like, I think you're going to be okay. At least the APIs are there to make you okay. But this is actually really rewarding to see that I didn't actually do anything and it still works.
Yep. It's all built in.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. Kudos to Shane and TJ and everyone on the MAUI team who's been working.
And I'm not faking this. This is not like a, wow, tell me more. Like,
no, I can guarantee about 3 minutes before we went live, Rachel was like, you're going to build it for Android, right? And Dave was like, oh yeah, I should really make sure it runs on Android because I haven't done that yet. So
that's what I was actually working on while you were sharing the Xamarin.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. And we didn't have time for it today, but blog post also talks about keyboard accelerators. So definitely check those out if you haven't implemented accelerators in your apps yet. Essentially, accelerators allow you to implement keyboard shortcuts. So maybe like in your system settings there, you can see, Dave, if you click on like file or something at the top.
Oh, up here. Yeah.
Yeah. So like Command W, like wiring that type of thing up in your MAUI apps is what you can achieve with accelerators. And that's a huge part of keyboard accessibility as well.
Yeah, I actually did.
Oh, you
I
did?
did not do it. No, I didn't do it in this app yet because I've been focused on other things. But if we go to nougat.org and then what did I call it? Key listener? Yeah, look at that. I published a NuGet package. And so while what you're describing works with menu items, I wanted to be able to do it regardless. Like I didn't want a menu item to execute on something. I just wanted to be able to find out when a user does something. How can I know that that's the keyboard shortcut? Did I put images here? I didn't put images. Where's the sample? Guess word. So I built this little game that captures keyboard events, and then you can basically play a Hangman style game.
Cute.
So I'm with you on that. Keyboard shortcuts for the win. As much as you saw me going to the mouse when I shouldn't have, I do prefer to keep my hands on the keyboard. So, well, I've learned something, and I expected to learn something when I asked you to come.
I just got a great text too that said from our boss, the three of our boss, we should probably have Rachel slam her head into the cake on Community Stand-Up.
Oh my gosh. I think he wants revenge.
No, Chris.
Yes,
no.
I was suggesting that we pie his face with the cake, so I think
he really just wants to pie someone.
So you started it. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Should I bring the cake so we can all see it and eat it virtually?
No, you can tweet out a picture after, but
Isn't he in the building with you, Rachel, with the cake?
that's why I'm worried. I'm trying to give her a heads up. What if he sneaks in?
I'm in the building with the cake and with him somewhere. You're right.
Be careful. Watch your back.
Y'all keep an eye out for me.
Oh my god. Well, Rachel, thanks for coming on last minute.
Of course.
And yeah, I don't know. What
I'm happy to be here.
happy May, everybody. Build is this month. It's pretty light on like developer content this year from what I've seen. There's a lot of really cool sessions that are like running the gamut of everything. But Maui only has a couple things, which is plenty for me. It's very AI focused this year, shocker. So I'll be there. Surprisingly, I didn't think I was going. I thought I was going to get the year off from Build, but I'll be there after all.
Aren't you going to like Norway or something?
Yeah, NDC in Oslo.
Is that right after?
Yeah. And Peppers will also be at Build, Jonathan Peppers, and he will be in Oslo. So if you want to meet the performance man himself.
He's going to Build?
Yeah. Wow. I just found this out. He was like, yeah, I don't know why.
Seriously, every time we go do an event, one of the first questions is Jonathan Peppers here?
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're going to be there, come say hi. If not, I'll see you. But happy May. We'll talk to you next month. Hopefully next month we'll be celebrating Maui DevKit having gone GA and VS Code and whatever else. But you know where to find us. And enjoy the month. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.